Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Now Playing. I'm Giancarlo Veronini. I'm joined by Nathan Camarillo, executive producer on Crysis 2, which is what we're going to be looking at today. Now Nathan, Crysis was a fantastic looking game, great first person shooter, but you guys are kind of moving it out of the jungle and into the urban jungle, so to speak, for Crysis 2. Give us a little bit of the setup for what we're about to see here.
Yeah, today we're going to be showing a level called Dark Heart. It takes place just about halfway through the game. And you're going deep into the heart of alien territory for the first time in the game. And it's an area of New York that's been really ravaged and destroyed, and you'll see it's got its own flavor and feel that's going to be unique for Crysis 2.
And one of the things that we're going to look at right before we jump into firefights and all that heavy-duty action, we're actually going to look at some of the nanosuit customization options that are available in Crysis 2. So let's have a look here.
Yeah, it's a new feature for Crysis 2. Just like customizing your weapon in the original Crysis and Crysis 2, we want to extend that onto the nanosuit now. So there's modules that you can purchase and buy over time and equip them how you like. So before you go into combat, you look at the combat area and you decide what attachments you want on your weapon. Do you want a scope? Do you want a grenade launcher? You know, you make these kind of decisions, but you can also tweak the suit a little bit. So depending on your play style, if you like playing stealth or armor, you play as you like. You can customize and choose different modules to your liking. So a couple that has its turned on here are Threat Tracer, which helps you see tracers from enemy fire, and Mobility Enhance makes you a little faster, reduces the drain of your energy in armor mode when you're sprinting. And so there's just a lot of different modules that you can equip, and they all just change the gameplay slightly, so there's a lot of replayability every time you go back and play. You can approach the space not only from a different playstyle point of view, but with different weapon customization and nanosuit customization options. So really excited to have that this time.
Well, let's jump in and get started here with this level.
So we're jumping in about halfway through the level. The player's made his way through some subterranean tunnels of the city, and we get a big reveal here.
Like some vast coral ecology. Can we even doubt that these creatures evolved?
We see here that he's actually, it looks like he's cloaked.
Yeah, he just went cloaked. You're going right into the heart of alien territory here, so as he peeks over the edge here, you're going to see there's quite a number of aliens on patrol, and they're not aware that you're here yet. So this plays into our whole idea of choreographed sandbox, where we have heavily scripted moments and story that just occurred, and it seamlessly hands off into gameplay with AI and spaces that we call action bubbles.
And here we have the visor mode, and is that the visor mode where you can actually sort of, if you see ammo, you can kind of tag it, you see enemies, you can tag them, kind of giving you a strategic advantage over the enemy in that view? Yeah,
definitely. It always shows you where your primary objective is, so if you get lost, it's really simple to find. But then we also give you tactical recommendations. Tactical options is what they're called, and these are the yellow icons, and if you look at them, you can get different hints, like maybe you could snipe from here. And we don't tell you that it's mandatory. It's just a way for us to give you some strategic options in the space that you weren't aware of, and gives you opportunities to go explore and play the game as you like it. And then, if you see like a rocket launcher or a valuable, asset for you that you might want to utilize in the mission, then you can tag it and remember it, and then it carries over to the main view, and it's like a memory. You can choose what you want to tag and keep them interesting. He just kicked the car here over the edge to cause a distraction, but you can see everybody's looking for him now. So some of the aliens he tagged are calling reinforcements and pushing ahead, and you can see the threat tracers that he turned on are helping him not only see where the enemies are. This is a great feature for new players, is it helps them understand where the gunfire is coming from. So it's a really good module, especially in multiplayer as an example. It works really well also. It's a lot of complaint from people when they first start playing multiplayer is, I don't know where I got shot from. But if you turn on a module like this in multiplayer, it really helps you realize where you're getting shot from and when you first start. So we have these modules in single player and multiplayer.
And can you talk a little bit about the aliens that we're seeing here in this level, and how they're different from the original Crysis, and sort of the design approach with them?
Yeah, so what we did with the aliens in Crysis 2 was we wanted to make them bipedal, so they had contact with the ground much like you, but because their spaces have so much vertical gameplay and verticality, that we need the AI to get to where you are and where you're going, within the gameplay space. So they have to be extremely intelligent and navigate and find their way around walls and jump off of objects and climb on things and move through the environment in as many ways as you can, to really put pressure on you and chase you through the space, because if you hide and then, like Hazard could do right now, he could hide and then sneak over to the complete opposite side of this space. They have to be able to get to you, and so it's a big challenge to make AI that's smart enough to do that, because they're not popping up out of the same place every time behind every corner, just like you saw them last time, like
Right.
in a lot of other games. They really have to find their way through the space and challenge you, and it can be quite daunting. If you just jump out in the middle of action and you're surrounded, they're gonna have quite a field day with you. And three types of aliens you can see in here are stalkers, and they literally hunt, in packs and move around you and try to get around the gameplay space on you. And grunts, are a little bit tougher than the stalkers. They like using cover, and they push forward through the space and try to, deny your movement by keeping you under heavy fire. And then the third type is a heavy kind of alien. He's down there right now. He has a chain gun and like a rocket launcher he can fire at you. And
Wow.
When you mix all these into the same space, you can imagine some guys are pushing through the center. The grunts are pushing through the center. The stalkers are moving around the edges, and then the heavy's pinning you down. So
Right.
we have a lot of dynamic gameplay in that regard. Plus, you have the stealth and armor gameplay that you can always play at your will. You can switch tactics midstream. If you were started out stealthy and your plan went bad, you can quickly throw on armor and recover, or vice versa. You jump in, maybe causing a big ruckus at first, and then sneak your way through the space. One of the cooler weapons that he brought along with him for the ride was a mic gun, and it fires out microwave beams, and it roasts the
nice.
jelly and the aliens from the inside, and then they pop, and goo goes everywhere.
That's completely horrible, but that is awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a great weapon.
Bad way for aliens to die.
That seems to be working.
And so people will also be able to make various sorts of upgrades to their weapons and things like that as well, right?
Yeah, you get different attachments throughout the course of the game, and like Hazard could pop it open right now before he goes into the next space, and look at what he could equip the shotgun with. And he doesn't have, he hasn't found a silencer yet or a reflex sight, but if he did, he could slap those on the shotgun and then really change the way that it plays. One of my favorites is taking something like a conventional sniper rifle and then sticking a reflex sight on top of it. So what you typically use as a long-range weapon becomes a really deadly close-range weapon, and
Very nice.
it's really fun to use. And here's a sniper rifle. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the reflex sight, so we could show you that. But I really encourage everybody to try it. It's a lot of people's new favorite weapon in the office. New weapon configuration.
It seems like, too, people really need to be sort of thoughtful about the way that they use their ammunition and what weapons they kind of bring into certain situations. It's just not, I mean, you could go in just running and gunning if you want to, but you might not get very far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at this space here. This is another action bubble that we're coming across here, and there's more aliens everywhere. If you just jump into the middle of this, it's you can see there's a lot less cover than there was before. Where the previous one had a lot of vertical space, it was like playing into a sinkhole. This too is a sinkhole, but it's a little wider, and there's more lateral routes through the space. And he needs to get his way over there. There's a heavy on patrol guarding the spore conduit that he needs to get to. So he's using the visor and seeing what opportunities exist in the space and trying to find where some of the aliens are, and now they'll shoot at him. And now his first shot's free, and then everybody comes to find you. So they're looking for him, trying to spot him, see where he's at. And a good tactic to do, when you open this way, is to cause the ruckus and then cloak and then go into the space. And kind of catch them by surprise while they're coming to look for you.
And there are also different visor modes too, as well. There's like a thermal mode and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Nanovision is a very cool mode. It can be layered on top of the visor or just normal combat. It lets you, see in dark areas, lets you pinpoint the location of enemies. And you can see where their vulnerable spots are as it's just there, shooting it in the back. It's a really great way to see and experience the game as well, especially in the dark areas of the game. It's kind of a combination of like night vision and thermal vision combined. And there you saw like a flow control mechanism that we have of ledge grab. You know, with this much vertical gameplay space, we want you to be very mobile, so you can jump, you can power jump, all context, you know, just based on how long you hold the jump button. If you get near an edge while you're jumping, you know, you automatically grab them and pull yourself up, so you can get through the space both in single player and multiplayer really quickly and
Nice.
Move around quite quickly.
And just for people that might not know, so you know how much energy your nanosuit has. There's just a little energy bar down at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. So you'll know, you know, if you're going around stealthing and you're kind of near an enemy and you see that energy bar going down, you maybe shouldn't be so close, right?
Yeah, you really have to. It's not difficult to manage your energy. You just have to learn the spaces and the distances, how far you can move and what you can do. You know, like this is probably not the best location to fight from that he's in right now. He's got no cover. You know, all he can do is really retreat and kind of fall back into space because everyone's flanking him and coming around him now. And you can use some close range tactics like that. You know, suddenly going cloak so they lose you, and get the jump and surprise on them. But when you do that, you know, you're essentially out of energy. So if someone really pins you down, you won't have enough left to you know, go into armor.
So we're a little bit further in the level, so we're moving along. Are there any sort of other nanosuit abilities you can talk about, or?
There's a lot in the game. I mean, stealth and armor gameplay is great, and then you know, with Crysis 2, one of the main things we wanted to do is make the suit accessible, not only for PC players but console players, and that doesn't mean we took anything away from Crysis 1. We just wanted you to be able to use all the powers of the suit more often and combine them together. So in Crysis 1, if you were sprinting and you wanted to do something like a power jump, you had to change modes to do that. You couldn't sprint and power jump while being cloaked. You know, everything was a very singular decision that you could make. What we wanted to do is give you the ability to play like a ghost if you wanted to play like a ghost. You know, being able to sprint and then jump, and while you're in the air, throw on your cloak, or be able to cloak while sprint, or slide while, you know, being cloaked, or armored for that matter. And it, you know, as an example here, this is a really tough fight with these two aliens. Instead of engaging them, sometimes the best thing to do is just sneak past, you know, and just manage your energy well. And that's completely a viable option in the game to do that. You can be in an area where maybe, you know, in sum total, if you cause a disturbance with all the reinforcements and everything, I mean, you're fighting 30, 40 guys over, not at once, but over the course of the battle in that space. But it's a completely viable option to just maybe only kill a few and sneak past the rest. You know, it's really how you want to play it. But at all times, if you make a bad decision, you know, things can turn bad for you very quickly.
Yeah,
so
there's no shame in playing smart.
Yeah, exactly.